Hi, my name is Amber, and I am a group fitness instructor at the University of Cincinnati. And today I will be guiding you through a gentle yoga practice, particularly with a focus today on forward bends and twist, although we will do some other poses as well to have a nice balanced practice. So, I'm going to come over to our yoga mat. The essential thing you'll need is some type of yoga mat for the practice today, and I do recommend having some kind of blanket. It doesn't have to be like this, but just anything that you might have around, more for comfort than anything else. But if you don't have one, it's no big deal. Another optional prop would be to have a yoga block, or again, you could use, like, if you have a large textbook or some similar type of item that could be a stand-in, very well could work for this. And again, if you don't have a block or anything like that, don't worry about it. It's just kind of an optional thing to have. The main thing is just to bring yourself and your yoga mat and your breath. So let's just get started by finding a comfortable seat, whatever that is for you. And we'll just start by, you can close your eyes if you'd like, or keep your eyes open. But just finding a really good posture with your upright spine. So of course, crown of your head lengthens up towards the ceiling, hips rooted down towards the earth, and let it relax a little bit. So your arms are relaxed, your shoulders are relaxed back, down, away from your ears. And we'll just take a few moments here of stillness to just kind of relax, come into your yoga practice, and connect to your breath. Just gently start to breathe in and out through your nose. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in and breathe out. And just continue as best as you can here to follow along with that steady rhythmic breath throughout today's practice. And as you sit here connecting to your breath, taking this time out of the day to just focus in on this practice, I invite you to set an intention for your practice. And the intention could be anything that feels good to you, anything that feels uplifting or positive that you would like to focus on. That being said, I mentioned we're going to be focusing a lot on forward folds and twists today. Now, you can take it or leave it. Some people in the yoga world say that twists are kind of considered a cleansing or a detoxing pose. I know this does not mean you're dirty. It doesn't mean you need to cleanse yourself or go on some sort of detox or anything like that. That's not at all what I'm trying to say. But maybe you can consider what you can cleanse from your life. Is there something that feels toxic to you? Is there a person or a situation, or is there something that's causing you unnecessary stress in your life? You can take this time on the mat perhaps to reevaluate those things and what really needs to stay, what maybe can you let go of so that you can feel a little bit better. So that's kind of something you might consider. Twist can be kind of considered like bringing out the toxins of frustration, anger, doubt, blame, or anything else that maybe just doesn't feel so great to you, while still allowing yourself to have, full range of human emotions. Another thing that I personally really do believe is that forward folds are a great time to look inward. You're kind of coming forward, you're sheltered from the rest of the world in a way a little bit. It's a really good time to look inward and just look in towards yourself and really take inventory of how you feel without judgment and what you really need. And maybe with this practice between those two things, we can find a little bit more clarity going forward. So, that being said, maybe your focus is on one of those things. Maybe it's on looking inward, seeing what you need, getting rid of the things you don't, cleansing the toxins from your life, those things that aren't serving you. Or maybe it's something else that you'd like to focus on for today. Either way, sitting with that breath and with that intention. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Try to really reach your fingertips up to the sky as high as you can. Exhale, send your right hand down to your left knee as you turn to look out over your shoulder. So we're starting with a little gentle twist here. Inhale to sit up tall, lengthen your spine first. And then once you've lengthened your spine, exhale, turn your head to look out, gently look out over your shoulder. Again, just do what you can, any amount's fine. There's no pressure, no need to force anything that doesn't work for you. Just meet yourself wherever you're at. And of course, you can take a break at any time in the practice. And inhale, look forward, gently unwind from your twist. Reach your arms overhead again, and guess what? We're going to do the other side. Exhale, send your left hand to your right knee as you turn to look out over your right shoulder. And inhale, sit up tall. And exhale, twist from there. What are you twisting out? What are you letting go of? It's also kind of a movement through your abdomen, so some also say it's kind of you're wringing out your internal organs and things like that. Again, you could take that or leave it, but that's just something that is believed, again, in the yoga space. Inhale, look forward, gently unwind from your twist, and we'll just roll your shoulders up by your ears, and then roll them down and back. We'll just do this a few more times here. And I always like to start with some sort of release for our shoulders, so that they're not bothering us and getting in our way during the rest of the practice. And then just allow your shoulder blades to relax down your back, and then just shake your head yes for a moment. Just kind of check in with your neck. Shake your head no. Let it loose. And then come back to center. And then we'll scoot off. If you're sitting on a blanket, we'll just scoot that off to the side. And slide your feet behind you. Make your way onto your hands and knees for your tabletop. So fingers spread wide, shoulders over your wrists, hips over your knees with your flat back. Moving right into cat and cow. Inhale, look forward, abs relax down towards the earth as your tailbone lengthens up. Chest is open, it's movement of expansion. And then exhale into your cat, movement of contraction. As you draw your navel into your spine, gaze down towards your navel, tailbone towards the earth. Inhale, shift backward into your cow. And exhale back into your cat. And just continue to move through these at your own pace and with your own breath. You can always take a drink of water to any time. Sometimes we're moving energy through our body in some different ways that they may or may not be used to. It can be helpful to, you always just want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself and being mindful about staying hydrated as you go. And then make your way back to your tabletop. Rack your hands and knees. From here, sink your seat to your heels for child's pose. Any variations fine. So your knees might be closer together. They might be further apart. Just find what feels good to you. And stretch your arms out in front. Maybe form a little pillow with your hands if you like that. And then come back to, just breathe in. Breathe out. Come back to your intention. And know that you can rest here at any time in the practice. Press down through the palms of your hands. Inhale, come back up to your tabletop. Fingers spread wide, shoulders over your wrists. Crawl your toes under. Lift your hips up to downward facing dog. So we're forming that upside down V with your body. You might start a little bend in your knees, or you might start to straighten your legs if that works for you. Either one is fine. You might, bend your knees a little bit, one and then the other. Kind of walk it out, shimmy around. Any stretches that feel good to you. Maybe shake your head front and back, side to side. Just kind of feel it out, especially this first downward dog. And then from here, we're going to lift your right leg up just for a moment. 3-leg downward dog stretch. Feel a line of energy through that leg. Inhale, slide that right foot forward up to meet your hands. If you need to help it along a little bit, totally fine. Check that your knee is over your ankle. Exhale, lower that back knee. Inhale, reach your arms overhead, coming into a low lunge. Take one more breath in. Exhale, hands down to the earth. Inhale, reach your right arm overhead. So we're coming into a twisted lunge here. Shoulders stacked. Chest open. Notice how it feels. Take one more breath in. And exhale, hands back down to the earth. Curl your back toes under, if they're not already. Lift that back knee. And then step back to downward facing dog. Pause for a moment here. And then other side. Inhale, lift your left leg up, stretch it back. Feel energy through that leg as you stretch it out. Inhale, slide the left foot forward between your hands. You can help it along if needed. Exhale, lower your back knee. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Find your low lunge. You can always put a blanket or something under that back knee too if you want a little more support there. Exhale, hands back down to the earth. Inhale, lift your left arm up this time. Twist your lunge. Take a breath in. And exhale, hands back down to the earth. And then curl your back toes under. Again, lift that back knee and step it back. Downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale, lift your heels off the earth. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, step your feet forward to meet your hands. And exhale, forward fold. Just let your head hang heavy here. You might put a little bend in your knees. Your legs might be straight. And if you have a block or a book or something, you could even place it underneath your hands to bring the ground up to you. Or just let your hands hang out in front of you. They may or may not touch the floor. Some of you might even bring your body closer to your chest closer to your legs than I am. If you have more flexibility in your hamstrings, just feel it out. Stay with your breath. Take the time to look inward. What do you need right now? And then press down to your feet. Inhale, slowly roll it up to standing. A little bit at a time. So your head and shoulders will come up last. And you'll step towards the top of your mat here. And just connect in your mountain pose, Tadasana. So standing up tall, good posture. Soles of your feet rooted down towards the floor. Crown of your head lengthens up. Shoulders relax down and back. Feet parallel to one another. You can have them close together or up to hip width apart. Just wherever you feel the most stable and most comfortable. Take your left hand to your waist. Inhale, right arm reaches overhead. Exhale, slide that arm up and over alongside your ear if that feels okay, and your shoulder, side body stretch. Take a breath. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, release that hand to your waist. Other side, left arm reaches up and over. Take a breath in. Out. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, release. You can just kind of shake out your arms a little bit. Maybe roll your shoulders a few times here if you would like. And then from here, we're going to step out to a wide leg stance. So you're going to step your legs back so that your feet are facing out in front of you and that your hips are in line with the long end of your mat as I am here. And then from here, just take your hands to your waist. Just put a little micro bend in your knees. Lengthen up through your spine. Stand up tall. Exhale, hinge at your hips as you fold forward. And just let your hands come down to the floor. Or, again, you can use a block here to bring the floor up to you if you wish. Wide leg forward fold. You might keep a little bend in your knees here, or you might straighten your legs. Totally up to you. Just feel it out. If you're not sure, just explore. Try different things out. Just kind of have fun with it. Play around with it. But find what feels good to you. And know that as you practice, your practice might grow and change in different ways. So always be open to just experimenting and trying different things. Just making sure that there isn't any pain. Breathe here. And forward fold. Take this time to just kind of look inward. Just notice anything that comes up, anything you want more of in your life, anything you'd like to let go of in your life. And take another breath here. Taking a little moment of stillness within our pose. And then from here, we'll take your right hand to center, so it's right underneath your nose. Inhale your left hand up to your waist. And then exhale, turn your gaze to look out over your left shoulder. So you want to start by keeping your hand on your sacrum, which is the very lowermost part of the spine, the very bottom part of your spine, to make sure that your hips and sacrum stay as level as possible here. As you come into this twist, and then start to look up towards the ceiling. Optional to stay here, or maybe you extend that left arm if that is one for you. It's a little modified twisted triangle. Let's take one more breath in. And exhale, release your hand down to the floor. Place your left hand where your right hand was. Inhale, right hand up to your waist. Exhale, look out over your shoulder. Pause. Breathe. Next, exhale, release your hand back down. Now we're going to rotate from side to side a couple of times here, a little bit faster, just for fun. So take your right hand back to center where your left hand was. Inhale, left hand up. And exhale, left hand down. Inhale, right hand up. Exhale, right hand down. One more time on each side. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, down. Inhale, right up. And exhale, down, and then pause. We'll take about 2 or 3 breaths here again in our forward fold. You might even sink a little deeper, maybe widen your stance if that feels good to you. Get a little stretch in your legs there. Let's just take one more breath here. Quiet space. And then you might walk your feet a little closer together if they're out far. Maybe put a little bend in your knees. Inhale, bring your hands up to your waist and slowly start to make your way all the way back up to standing. And once you get there, just kind of shimmy your feet closer together and come back to your mountain pose standing at the top of your mat. And then from here, from your mountain pose, just bring your palms to heart center. Root down through your right foot. So not gripping with your toes, not forcing anything, but just standing really strong and sturdy through that right leg. Look forward, find a drishti or steady gazing point, just something on the horizon that you can focus on. You can just slide your left knee out to the side, take your left heel to your right ankle. And then optional, you could stay right here. Maybe you start to walk your foot up your leg, either above or below your knee. You can take your arms out to the side. This can be really helpful for balance, or maybe you grow your branches overhead. Tree pose, Vrikshasana. You can always hold on to a wall, or in my case, a slanted wall, ceiling space I have here. And just keep breathing. You might be like, well, Amber, you said we were going to do forward folds and twists today. Why are we doing balancing pose? Again, it's good to have a balanced practice. Staying steady through the twists and turns and folds of our practice and of our lives on and off the mat. Steadily breathing through any challenges. Inhale, bring that front knee forward. Exhale, release your feet to the earth and shake it off a little bit. Shake it out, let it go. Well, of course, we'll do what we do on one side, we'll do on the other. So coming back to your mountain pose, let's also start with your palms at heart center. Root down this time through your left leg, through your left foot. Look forward, find that gazing point to focus on. Slide your right knee off to the side, heel to ankle. And again, maybe you stay here. You can totally hang out with your feet on the floor today. Or maybe you walk your foot up your leg as long as it's not against your knee. And whatever hand variation works for you, just continue to breathe in. Breathe out. Find that steady space in your tree pose. We'll take one more breath here. Inhale, bring that front knee forward. Exhale, release your feet, release your arm, and just shake it out a little bit and let it loose. Alright, so we're going to come back to your mountain pose. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. And exhale, dive forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, look up to a flat back this time. So take your hands to your shins, your waist, crown of your head lengthens forward with a flat back. Exhale, fold. And press down to your feet. Inhale, repeat that roll up from the floor. Roll all the way up to standing. Reach your arms overhead. And exhale, dive back down again, Uttanasana. Inhale, look up, flat back. And exhale, fold. This time we'll pause and take a breath or two here. Come back to your breath if needed. Come back to your attention. And of course, always meet yourself where you are. And then from here, we'll go ahead and bend your knees however much you need to place your hands on the floor beside your feet, fingers spread wide. Not curl your toes under, step your feet back, and lift your hips up to downward facing dog. And heels are off of the earth. They might come a little bit closer to the earth, so feel free to play around with that. The heels are in the direction towards the earth. They may or may not touch. My heels are off the earth because that's how my body is. Your heels might touch the earth or come closer. The idea is not to worry about it too much, just to be moving your heels in that direction. Again, you might keep a little bend in your knees or straighten your legs. And just notice how this downward dog feels. Taking time to come back to the sort of home base, our downward facing dog. Take one more breath in. And exhale, lower your knees down to the earth. Slide your feet over to one side. It doesn't matter which side it is. And if you have a blanket, you might choose to sit on that. And if you don't, again, not a big deal. I'm going to come to a seat with your knees bent in front of you and your feet on the floor. Let's take your hands right underneath your knees, or on the back of your legs, your hamstrings. Inhale, sit up tall, lengthen your spine. And then exhale, just a little bit at a time, start to just fold forward over your knees. You might even take your hands to your forearms or your elbows and just let your head rest. If you feel any pinching or pain in your spine, come back up a little bit. And then just settle into the seated forward fold. You're feeling a length in your spine and taking this time sort of curling up, coming into your own world, looking inward, checking in with yourself. Our seated forward fold. We'll take a couple of breaths and pause here. Shoulders relax down and away from your ears. And then as you're ready, inhale, start to slowly make your way back up to your upright spine. You can bring your feet in a little closer to you, knees still bent in front of you with your feet on the floor. And we'll slide your knees out to the side, bringing the soles of your feet together. Inhale, sit up tall, lengthen your spine. Just start from here. And exhale, a little bit at a time, start to fold forward. So I'm keeping your shoulders relaxed. Start with a flat back. And then once you come forward as far as you can with your flat back, then optional, you might choose to round your spine and come further. It's our bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana. A little forward fold. You also might feel a little opening in your hips or stretch in your inner thighs. Take time, loosen up, and let go of the reins. Let go of the things that aren't serving your greatest potential and well-being. Take another breath here. And then inhale, start to make your way all the way back up again. And we'll bring your knees together. You can stay seated on a blanket, or you can scoot the blanket off to the side. But we'll be seated with your knees bent in front of you and your feet on the floor. And just take your hands again to the backs of your legs. Shoulders relax down and back. Start to engage your core. So really draw your navel into your spine, almost like you're drawing your belly button in toward your spine here. As we start to, a little bit of time, start to tilt back with a flat back. So we don't want pinching, we don't want pain in our back, so we're engaging our core to support our spine. Start to come back a little bit at a time before we come into boat pose, Navasana. Optional to stay here with your feet on the floor, engaging your core. Or you might start to lift your feet up off the floor. So either one's fine. Another option from here, you can keep your hands on your legs, or you might choose to take your hands out to the side. So whichever one that you want to do, take one more breath in here. And exhale, release your feet down to the floor. Take a breather for a moment. We'll do this one more time. So it's a little bit of core work there, practice too. Take your hands to the back of your legs, tilt back in a little at a time. Optional, so stay right here. Or maybe you'll start to lift your feet. Maybe take your hands out to the side. Again, it's not a contest. Whichever one feels right to you. If you get a little shaky, that's okay too. Really feel your core engaged, kind of turning on that light, creating a little heat, a little energy within yourself, giving you that confidence to move forward and the way it makes the most sense to you. Take one more breath in with a big old smile on your face, because we all love the core work part of the practice. And exhale, release your hands, release your feet down to the floor, release your arms. Take a breath. Take a breather. And then from here, knees still bent in front of you, feet on the floor, sitting up tall. I'm going to take your right hand and wrap around either one or both knees. Inhale, left arm reaches up. Exhale, send that hand behind you, coming into a little teepee twist. So again, lengthen your spine first. Exhale to twist if you look out over your shoulder. What are you getting rid of? What toxins, what negativity are you wringing out of your life? How are you choosing to have boundaries and to take care of you? Inhale, look forward, gently unwind from your twist. And we'll do this on the other side, of course. You already knew I was going to say that, probably. We take your left hand, wrap around either one or both knees. As you reach your right arm up overhead, then exhale, send that hand behind you. And when you're ready, turn to look out over your shoulder. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale to twist. And just do what you can. Any amount is fine. Take one more breath here. And inhale, look forward gently. Unwind from your twist. And then from here, if you're sitting on a blanket, we'll scoot off of the blanket. Give you a moment here if you want to stretch out your arms or legs or make any little movements that feel good to you. We're going to make our way transitioning on to our back. So, excuse me, Murphy. You guys have met Murphy probably if you did the last video. He's my little assistant. He really likes to do the yoga with me. Anyway, so that's fine to see with your knees bent in front of you and your feet on the floor. And just a little bit at a time, you can use a little more of that core engagement. Slowly lower all the way down to your back. When you get there, take a breather and just let your back relax against the floor. Take a moment to enjoy just doing kind of nothing. Let your back feel supported by the ground beneath you. And then from here, what I'm going to do is bring your right knee in toward your body. Place your right foot on your left thigh, and then start to slide that right knee out away from your body. So you start to feel a little stretch, a little opening in your hips, perhaps. And then optional to stay here if this is feeling like a good stretch for you, or if you want a little bit more, you can lift that left foot, and with your hand, just kind of reach for your hamstring. Try to let your shoulders relax down towards the earth as much as you can. Coming into a little reclined pigeon, both feet stay flexed. Just take one more breath in. And exhale, release that front foot if you haven't already, followed by your other foot. And then we'll do the same thing for the other side. So bring your left knee in towards your body. Place your left foot on your right thigh, slide the knee away from you. And then of course optional to stay right here, or maybe you lift that other foot and reach for your hamstring. Try to keep that left knee away from your body. Make sure you don't feel any tension in the knees. This one generally is fairly safe on your knees, but it's always good to be mindful of how you feel. Just notice anywhere you feel stretch or an opening or release here. Take one more breath in. And exhale, release your foot down if you haven't already, followed by the other foot. Stretch your legs out for a moment and just kind of shake out your legs a little bit. And then we'll bring your knees back in again. Knees bent in front of you, feet on the floor. This time we'll take your arms out to a T or a cactus, depending on how much space that you have to work with, okay? Start to slide your hip just a tiny bit over to the left as you slide your knees over to the right. So we're coming into a reclined twist on the floor. Options here, you might choose to look out over your left shoulder if that feels good to you. If that creates any strain or tension in your neck, then you don't need to do that. You could just look up towards the ceiling. They're both just different variations of our twist. You might find it helpful. Something I like to do is place a hand on that top knee, just for a little bit of extra support. So that's another option as well. And otherwise, just let your body sink down towards the floor and let it relax. And let yourself enjoy the reclined twist. And take a couple of breaths here. What are you twisting out? What are you letting go of? How are you letting loose? You're letting go of pressure, tension, perfectionism, expectations. And then we'll release if you have your hand over your knee or anything like that, and just gently bring your gaze back to the ceiling and bring your knees back to center. And your arms can stay where they're at, either T or cactus shape. Again, just working with whatever space you have to work with. And we'll do the other side. So this time slide your hip just a tiny bit, just a little bit over to the right as you slide your knees out over to the left. And again, optional to look out over your left or over your right shoulder, but only if that feels good to you. Make any other movements or adjustments here. If your shoulders don't touch the floor, it's not a big deal. If you have a blanket or something, you might slide that underneath your shoulders to kind of close out that space between your shoulders and the floor. Otherwise, just let yourself relax here. Let it feel good. Give you a little quiet space. We'll take a few more breaths here to just relax in the pose. Breathe in. Breathe out. And let go. As you're ready, and we'll bring your knees back to center. And this time, just let your arms rest to the side, palms facing down. Check that your feet are parallel to one another, so you need to kind of do a little gaze up where you can. And that your knees are over your ankles. We'll press your feet down into the floor. Inhale, lift your hips up a little bit at a time. Lift your lower, mid, and upper back. We'll pause here for a few breaths in our bridge pose. Got to get a nice back bend in there too, right? For a balanced practice, kind of help balance out all those forward bends that we did today. Optional, you might lift your heels off the earth and come onto your toes. You might keep your arms where they're at. You might like to walk your shoulder blades closer together and clasp your hands underneath you. That'll lift you up a little bit higher. But again, there's no pressure to do so. These are all just different options to play around with. Take a couple more breaths here. Of course, you can come down whenever you want to. Otherwise, we'll take another breath here. Just take another breath in. Maybe even lift up a little higher if you want. And then exhale, release, lower down a little bit at a time, upper, mid, and then lower back. Taking your time to get there, and when you do, just give your knees a little hug into your chest. You might even lift your head a little bit if that feels good for a moment. Maybe rock a little from side to side, finding something that feels good on your spine here. We're starting to wind down the practice, getting pretty close to Shavasana. Just, let that loose, let that go. You rock a little bit if that feels good. Side to side. If you want, you could even carefully rock a little front and back. This one doesn't work for everybody, so I advise caution. If you do this one, make sure it feels okay to you, and if it doesn't, then don't do that. Letting loose. Letting it all go. And then from here, we'll lower your feet down to the floor. Just extend your arm down in front of you. Stretch your legs all the way out. Or take your arms behind you. Stretch your legs out in front of you for a full body stretch. Really reach your fingertips back. Reach your toes forward. Stretch your body long. And then see if you can stretch even more. We'll take one more deep breath. This time we'll just take a deep breath in through your nose. And exhale with a big sigh out through your mouth as you release your arms down to your sides. And then just start to make any final movements or adjustments you'd like to make to get yourself set up for Shavasana, our final pose of practice or relaxation of the practice. So you just want to take as much time as you need to get here. You might choose to put your socks back on if that's comfortable to you. Another option here is a lot of different things you can do. You might place a blanket or pillow under your head for a little support there. You can extend your legs and your arms, or have your arms out the side, legs extended. If that creates any tension at all on your lower back, you can always either bend your knees and take your feet out about as wide as your mat, and just gently rest your knees on each other so that you're not using any effort to hold into this. Another option is if you have like a big blanket or a big pillow. I'm just going to use my bolster here, but you could even just stack some pillows from your bed or something underneath your knees, and that can help release any tension you might have in your lower back in this pose as well. Palms of your hands can be facing upward to take in any positive energy we've created, bring in any more abundance into your life. Or you might place your palms face down on your chest or belly to feel a little more grounded, a little more stability within the practice. Or just whatever, no need to overthink it, whatever feels good to you. Either way, just let your back, your shoulders relax against the floor. And just let your eyes close. Release. Come back to your natural breath. And just allow yourself this time to completely relax for these next few minutes here. Releasing all physical effort from your body. Giving your body a chance to gently absorb the benefits from each pose that we did today. Just take a couple of minutes here today, but I really, really urge you to give yourself this time. Today I'm just going to let this be a quiet space for you to relax and reflect on your own, to take whatever you need from the practice. Shavasana, corpse pose. Begin to deepen your breath, drawing energy back into your body. And just start a little bit of time, start making any little stretches or movements that feel good to you. Or gently stretching and moving your arms and legs. Just gently kind of bring yourself back out from the Shavasana a little bit at a time. Back out into the rest of your day. And then as you're ready, you'll begin to bring your knees in towards your chest and gently roll over to your right side. And just pause for a moment here in fetal pose. And you can stay here in this fetal pose for a couple more breaths. If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear as it truly is, infinite. William Blake. And mindfully begin to make your way back to your seat. And as you do so, just take a brief moment here of gratitude towards yourself for taking this time out of the day to come to your yoga mat to do something really good for your health and well-being. Maybe take a moment here to reflect on any clarity you found or any observations that have come up during your practice, again without judgment. So thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. Namaste. Thank you so much. Again, I really hope this helps. My name is Amber, and we'll be back with some more yoga practices for you with UC Iraq. And as always, take really, really good care of yourself and try to make it a great day. Bye.